What's up, y'all? Welcome to like probably maybe the second to last episode of the Soccer Comic Rant. We'll see. But we got some of the usual suspects, and it's the last day of the Premier League season. We're going to do a roundup, talk about our teams, see how it was. We got Lee Hudson, stand-up comic and Southampton fan. Great to see you. And we got a real happy Neil Chakrabarty, stand-up comic. And I don't even have to tell you, if you watch it, you can see the Chelsea regalia that he's got on right now. If you ain't watching, he got on the jacket, he got on the cleats. He just got on the jersey. And I'm Ian Edwards, United fan. And it was the last day of the league. It's like we also probably need to talk about Europa League, but Martin might join later. And we'll talk about the final. We'll see. We'll push that to last. Do we go down the top of the table and talk about Liverpool finally being crowned champs? Like, how do we do this, y'all? We didn't get a chance to set it up.
Yeah, we can go top to bottom.
We go top to bottom because we get to Chelsea pretty quick. So Liverpool played
Palace,
the two champions, and they gave each other a guard of honor, and that was pretty
good.
That
was a nice touch.
That was a beautiful touch. Have we ever seen that before?
I've never seen it before.
And I think it's pretty rare for the league. Like, it had to be one of those, right? The FA Cup final has happened, and then there's a round between the league winners and the FA Cup winners, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty rare for that to happen.
Yeah,
in a lot of past years as well, the FA Cup was always after the season.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I wonder why they changed that, though.
I mean, I guess some fortune teller could see that this was the right time to change it. So that worked out. So Liverpool, you gotta give Klopp. Klopp got he's the man. He knows what to do. So midweek, he knows it's the last game. They're gonna get the trophy presentation. And he's like, hey man, they're not gonna boo my player. They're not booing Trent. That's my son. I introduced him into the first team. He helped me win a Champions League. He helped me go to multiple Champions League finals to get knocked out by Real Madrid. He helped me win a COVID title and battle Man City, mano a mano, point for point every year. So let me make a speech. And not only am I going to make a speech, I'm going to show up. And my kids in the crowd, my other kids, besides my player kids, they're not going to boo my son when I'm there. And this is going to be an enjoyable presentation. Plus, I get to collect the trophy that I left on the table when I quit, because that's my team. Everybody in there. The one player they bought didn't do shit. So, what do you guys think about Liverpool finally 1-1, wrapping it up, and getting the title, and their season?
Yeah, I mean, they've been just ruthlessly consistent the whole season. We said it before, like they definitely deserve it. I find it interesting with Klopp speaking out because, like, I don't know how much of a representation Twitter is of how fan base feels, but like a lot of them have been like being like, no, you can't tell us what to do and all this other stuff, and it's like, come on, man. Like, like I said it before, like I get that people are upset, I get that people are disappointed, but he has still given you 20 years. He's given you trophies. Like, it's not great that he's leaving on a free, but surely everything he's done can be weighed against that. And you didn't pay a transfer fee for him, so it's not like he's cost you money that way. It's just wages, and he's earned those wages by delivering trophies. So yeah, it was some of the reactions I saw online were a bit crazy, but the Liverpool fans I know, like, and have spoken to in person, it's been one or the other. Like, some of them are quite level-headed about it, and some have been the same as the online psychos, where they've been fully, like, just full of hatred, which I really find weird for a club to for fans to feel like that towards an academy player that's won the biggest trophies you can win with a club, regardless of how they're leaving. So, it's not like he's going to Everton on a free or something, or United on a free.
It's not just Liverpool fans, though. I've seen such behavior from fans across the board. People are really entitled.
Yeah, it's not unique to them at all.
Right.
So it's just, I find that strange. But, they deservedly got to celebrate a very, very good season and like I say, being deserved champions. I think, did Mo Salah win assists and the Golden Boot as well, I think?
I think
Definitely
so.
Golden Boot.
Yeah,
Shit. That's
he got
great.
the Playmaker of the Year, the new award that they've got.
Because I saw a picture of him on the field afterwards with like all of his trophies lined out. With like the Premier League trophy, the individual stuff. So it'd be interesting to see if he can keep that up.
It would have been Bruno's
next
prize
season.
if we had any scorers.
Oh man. I did find it quite funny that Conor Bradley kind of messed up on the goal by playing a loose pass as well. It's like, okay, like
just
because
maybe he was just doing Trent a favor.
I was like, oh no, maybe you do need to sign Frimpong.
And you think Trent is bad defensively? Look at this.
But I mean,
but great
Frimpong and Wirtz going into that team next season potentially.
Oh man.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Neil?
No, I was just saying. Sorry to cut you off, but
okay.
I was just saying that's real leadership by Klopp, because it could have damaged. It had already started to damage some of the, it's been a great season and it's a great achievement winning your second Premier League, and it was just the results also weren't really helping, but the Trent thing added to that is just getting into a really bad end of the season where it should be an amazing end of the season. But I think Klopp, whoever put that foundation function together, needs to get a pat on his back, because it came at just the right moment, just before the last game. And Trent came out today, and there were not a lot of boos. I think it was mostly applause.
It was all applause.
It was all applause, and I think Slot did him a favor, like snuck him in at halftime, so the focus is not just on one guy coming in.
They saw him. They saw him.
They did it. Didn't they do it on the 66th minute?
No,
that
was
halftime
or something.
Oh, 60, I think that was the rumor that he wanted to be subbed on at the 66th minute because of his shirt number. Yeah. But I just want to say, like, a couple of episodes back, we spoke about this, and there were a few comments saying, "Hey, you guys don't know, what Liverpool fans mean." Well, it looks like Klopp has kind of backed us up on what we were saying, that that it's okay to be disappointed, but you can't boo every single time you don't get something completely your way.
Yeah, and Liverpool fans are trying to make this rule up. You don't know what it's like to be a Liverpool fan. Every fan feels that way about their team, and every fan goes through this. And listen, we've lost Ronaldo to Real Madrid, bro. Like, he won 5 Ballon d'Ors afterwards. So Trent is not even held in that regard, bro. So I don't even know what Liverpool fans, and I like Trent. So I'm just saying.
You did get a fat fee for Ronaldo.
Yeah, we got a fat fee, but at that time, you're like, wow, like, this guy is just getting started. Yeah. And that's like, that there was no money that was going to cover that, and also, you see Trent, what he did and became.
Also, Trent, like, Gerrard is obviously, the Liverpool GOAT, but Trent's ending up as the most successful Liverpool academy player in the Premier League era.
Right.
Yeah.
2 Premier Leagues, 1 Champions League. He's got the medals, so
yeah, Gerrard never
celebrate him.
Right. Let's go Arsenal, Southampton. I was going to tell you this before the podcast started, but I saved it. It's like, when I saw the score was 2-1, you mean Southampton almost made Arsenal end the season with a tie? But speaking of Arsenal, let's all applaud Arsenal coming second for the 3rd time.
Coming second, yeah. It looks like they're going to finish 3rd.
Perennial second. Congratulations, Arsenal. Did your thing.
You locked that shit in.
Yeah, you locked it in,
bro.
10 points behind just to make sure that you didn't come first this time. What's your thoughts on the Southampton versus Arsenal, and just your seasons?
I was there today for that one. And yeah, if I focus on Arsenal more first, like they had some injuries at the back, like Saliba and Gabriel were both out. So they shuffled around a bit. I don't know if Timber was injured. I think he was on the bench, but like they started with White at right back, Zinchenko left back, and I think it was Calafiori and Tierney at centre back. Tierney scored as well. That was his last game for them. He's going to Celtic, so kind of pleased for him that he got something. And then Sterling started, which is a rare occurrence. He didn't really do much. They had Martinelli up top as well with Marino centre forward. Like Martinelli was on the other wing, sorry, and Nwaneri was playing as like the 10 behind them. But they threw all the big guns on later on, like Saka, Havertz, Trossard all came on. Odegaard. Odegaard scored a belter for the winner. So yeah, I mean, there wasn't that much intensity to the game, kind of thing. Like it was being played. Arsenal kind of had more of the ball. I think there's like 6-7% possession in the end, maybe more. But we had a go at them though. Like we made them like work for that win, kind of thing. We created some chances. It was great. Yeah, and it was great as well because we scored a corner against them.
Yeah,
because Arteta wasn't there today, or he was in the stands because he was on a ban. And so it's even more visible every time they got a set piece. The little gimp like jumped out of his seat to go and
came out of his
stand
box
and wave his arms around in the technical area. Box. And then we just stuck one on our big centre forward's head, and it goes in. It was that was quite nice to see. Ross Stewart as well. We spent a lot of money on him. He's been injured so much, but he's finally fit, and this is like his longest run of games he's had, like the last sort of handful of games. And he scored today, so I was pleased for him because I feel like it's a big season for him next season. He's played in the Championship for Sunderland before and scored a lot of goals for them, so we need him to stay fit and do that for us next season.
Speaking of Sunderland, congrats to Sunderland yesterday.
Yeah, great win for them. They turned it around, 1-0 down, and I think it's been 8 years.
It's been a minute
since they're in the Premier League. So yeah, good for them getting back, and I'm glad they beat Sheffield United because otherwise it's just the same three kind of teams moving between the leagues.
And the kid that got them through is in a Trent Arnold situation where
he's already gone. Yeah,
he's an academy player who announced that he was leaving, so the fans turned on him, but he gets subbed into the game and scores the goal, and they're the underdogs, and they were under the cosh most of the game, and he gets them. He said, "Before I go, let me do this for you. Let me see if you're still going to be mad at me." And he scores the winner.
Yeah, it's a great finish as well. Like he passed that into the corner. Really good finish. But yeah, like we got a new manager now as well coming in. He was announced. They announced him like an hour before kickoff. Also, like it was pretty. Like I saw the thing come through when I was like on my way to the stadium. We're getting Will Still, who's the first Southampton manager that's younger than me. We got an interim guy, Simon Rusk. Okay. He stepped up from like the 23s with Adam Lallana as like his assistant. Will Still's coming in. He's like 32 years old, managed in Ligue 1 in France for a couple of seasons. Really promising. So I've listened to like a couple of podcasts that he's been on, just talking about like his career and how he's got where he's got, and he's really impressive when you hear him speak. And he was on Monday Night Football a few weeks back, like detailing how he preps his team and stuff. So he's an interesting guy. So I think it's a good get for us to get someone who's overachieved in the French league with sort of low budget teams, and we're getting them to drop down to the Championship. So
you think this team costs more than the French team that he was managing?
Possibly.
Even though you're not in the Premier League, isn't that some type of irony right there?
Possibly, yeah. But I feel like although the expense is higher in the Championship, I feel like the French league is still
better,
a better league than the Championship. Not like by loads, but it is, and it's just the prestige of being in like a top division. So he went on like a crazy unbeaten streak with one of his teams. He kept a clean sheet against PSG when they had like Mbappe, and Messi, and Neymar in there. So yeah, he's done some good stuff. So it's exciting. I like that we've done it early as well. We've done it like early. the dust hasn't even settled on this season, and we've already got the guy we want.
You did everything early this year.
Including
exit
ahead of schedule,
Premier League.
on everything.
Out here.
Yeah, that had to happen for this to happen. Like, imagine if you're still fighting relegation, you still had the actual manager.
Yeah, and then somebody snatches up Will. Yeah,
and then you still don't make it.
So,
yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
So at least the rebuild gets to start as quick as possible, and I'm glad that he got a game to like see some of the players live as well. So he can sort of start informing his decisions. I'm sure he'll be going back over all the video and whatnot as well. And there's some players who will want to leave. There's some players who won't, but we will want them to leave. So yeah, it's a real mixed bag. But yeah, I mean, going back to Arsenal, like I saw a stat as well, like because Havertz didn't score today and because Trossard didn't score too, none of their players got double figures this season. None of them.
Like how do they have so many? They have a lot of goals.
They scored quite a few goals.
They have a 35 goal difference. Where did goals come from? Is this all set pieces?
No, they're also very good defensively.
Yeah, because Raya got joint Golden Gloves with the Forest goalkeeper.
But I'm trying to see how many goals they scored. How come I can't see it on this? Because I'm not using a full screen. That's still a lot of Arsenal be scoring though. Like,
yeah. But I mean, Havertz got 9, Trossard got 8, Martinelli got 8, Bruno got 7, Saka only got 6, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they're just like that tells you like they need a 9, they need a proper 9 who's gonna do that job.
We all knew that. Is that hopefully this tells Arteta he's the only one that would never accept needing a 9. Because we have limited time. Let me just run through Man City versus Fulham. Watch that on one of the 4 screens. Fulham gave him a game.
Yeah.
Fulham gave him a game. So it ended up 2-0. And Marmoush doing his thing. Also, that kid Nunes, who I thought, this is not a Man City player. Yeah, he's the one that helped Gundogan score that overhead bicycle kick that hit the post. Like he's the one that came through from the back, cut around. So maybe they didn't buy the wrong player. Maybe it just took him a minute to acclimate. So he'll be all right. Good. Is Gundogan gone too?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure because he rejoined. I haven't seen anything. I don't know if it's just because it's been overshadowed by De Bruyne.
Right. So I'm not sure if he's staying, but yeah. Thank you. And no thank you, Kevin De Bruyne. Enjoyed you and did not enjoy you at all as a Man United fan. You know, just the situation we're in. We could never be friends, bro, but good Man City career.
Come back home. Come back to Chelsea.
Yeah, I know you do need like one mature person over there.
Yeah, we need a bunch.
Somebody who's able to buy liquor. You know, who's old enough to buy. Yeah, you do.
Although you heard what Maresca said today about everybody's calling it young squad and there's no leadership. He's speaking to people like me and he is like in English I want to say F off. he caught himself from saying so he literally said F off.
But he's the one that told everybody you weren't ready to do exactly this. And that everybody should relax. And there's a whole almost mention in the process. But nah, bro, you at Chelsea. I don't know where you think you at. And the money was spent. So there are demands, bro. And you fulfilled them. So Man City, they clinch third. The funny is the table ended the way it started as far as all the contenders for the Champions League, but there was still drama. And to go to one of the games of drama, Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest. How you feel about this, Neil? We talked about this a little bit last week, but you guys are getting grittier. I feel these are
Yeah.
important 1-0 wins, and you talk about we haven't scored by multiple goals, but any team that could like blow a good a new team can blow teams out and
Yeah.
and then get leads later on in the season and lose those leads and drop points. But a real team
Yeah.
can evolve into the 1-0 team, which you guys have been, I think, for the last few games. So so how you feel about where you
I mean,
finished up?
complete credit to the team and the manager, because I didn't think it was possible for us to do it with the run in.
Neither.
Yeah. And I thought we finished sixth or seventh, which again wouldn't have been a bad performance by the team, because I've been saying from day one, Maresca has been given a bad set of tools, not in terms of just player quality, but the fact that there's absolutely no experience, and the fact that some of the most important positions, we don't have somebody who you can trust, like striker and goalkeeper. Very little balance in the squad. So, if you finish sixth or seventh, I wouldn't be like, let's sack Maresca. Um, I'd still think he had done a good job, because it literally comes down to, you see the margins today, right? There was is a 1-0 game. We could have finished seventh. We could have finished sixth. We could have finished fifth. We ended up finishing fourth. So I think he did a great job. And that's what I was saying in the chat. Like, in all the ways that I thought we would get Champions League football, 3-1-0 wins in the last 5 games. I never thought that's something that could happen. And
Impressive. That's man football right there. That's
yeah.
maturity.
And like, the turning point of the season was, we were having some bad results. I think we drew to Brentford. We drew at home to Ipswich. Fulham, you're playing Fulham away. We're losing 1-0, I think 75th, 76th minute. Tyreek George, young 18-year-old, comes off the bench, and he scores. And he scores almost out of nowhere. Like, there was no way we were getting a goal in that game. And that changed the course of our entire season. Pedro Neto scores a worldie. We win like late. And yeah, since then it's been defensively the performance, because I've had very little confidence in our defense all season. We've ended up with the third best defense.
Oh shit.
And very close to, like, Liverpool considered 41 goals, we considered 43. So
Damn. And half of your 41 goals or 43 goals conceded, 20 of them are just assists from your
Sanchez.
defenders to the other team. Like, here's
Yeah.
you want to make this in game interesting? Here's a goal.
Yeah. And even Bobby Sanchez last couple of games, he's been really good. So I guess he gets to be the backup keeper next season. I'm okay with that. And, but again, like, today the game played a very, like I was saying last episode, that I kind of wanted tennis match. We got the absolute opposite of that. It was a proper old school Chelsea performance. Locked it down. Colville, Tosin, did a great job, and pretty much didn't let Chris Wood get I mean, he got a couple of chances, but two of them, I think he would have been offside. But
It
yeah,
was
he had
one,
those chances too to score. That's what I'm saying. The margins are so narrow.
right? But that's Forest. That's a lot of chances for Chris Wood. That's how much chances they used to. He's like, I could work with that.
Yeah.
But
And
go ahead.
yeah, so I think, like, like, what they will earn, and hopefully you get the trophy on Wednesday. Doesn't mean a lot, but now it can actually mean something, because we got the Champions League too. If we had lost today, that would have been a sad Wednesday.
Right.
So I think it augurs well for the squad. Maresca is obviously going to be here. We're going to go into the Club World Cup. Hopefully we get those, everybody knows the positions we need, but the bulk of the team is going to be the same. And, total credit. Like, this has been one of the most impressive performances by a Chelsea team in the back end of, like, the last 10 games. I didn't think we'd be able to do this looking at the fixture list. So yeah, hats off. I'm a fan. And
Like
as a social experiment, sometimes, they can turn out well.
Yeah, I feel like Chelsea fans, like we criticizing the Liverpool fans, Chelsea fans are hard on Chelsea, but that's what it is. Everybody's hard on their team. But it was a mess at the beginning of the season, and these results at the end kind of cloud that. But I do remember being like, "This is a mess." You guys were the laughing stock in preseason and
there's still many issues though. Like it's not that everything is fine. There's still issues with the squad. There's still issues with the balance, and off the pitch there are a couple of issues. So you need to not think that everything is great. We don't need to do anything in the summer. We need to still fix those issues, because next season it can't be another fighting for top 4. We need to actually be serious. You spend the money, be serious now.
Do you have anything to say about this spoiled Chelsea attitude that Neil is exhibiting? He's the only one here in the top 4 going to Champions League. You're getting deported. We finished a few points above you.
I mean, if you got like 3 centre midfielders who cost a combined total of almost 300 million, you damn well should be getting Champions League football.
See, I'm not wrong.
That's just Lavia, Caicedo, and Fernandes. Like, not even talking about anyone else in the team. But no, I mean, like it's been really that's been the most competitive part of the Premier League this season. I think has been that race for the European spot. So that's been one of the toughest spots to be in, because there's been so many teams who could get it, and I kind of feel like with it emptying down to 5th place, that kind of made the odds in your favor, I think. I mean, you did it. I think Champions League qualification, plus if you can get that trophy this week, like you say, that qualifies as a good season, I think. Even though it hasn't, I don't think, always felt like one. Have they said whether or not they're going to rotate? Because I know you've rotated a lot for the Conference League this year. Are they going to do it for the final as well, or is it going to be like, nah, sorry guys, we're putting the
goalkeeper is going to rotate for sure. I think he said that Jorgensen is going to be the European keeper, but I don't know what the rest. And honestly, I don't really care right now. Just put some guys on.
I can say I want to say one thing about you getting this Champions League spot. You got it as 4th, meaning some people probably, if the season is going bad next season, some Chelsea fans would call in talks about and say, we shouldn't even be in the Champions League. Fire Maresca, because if we didn't have the 5th spot, he wouldn't have got in. But they can't say that. You got in on the 4th. You know how sports fans are. Like somebody's gonna call when shit is not going right, because you probably have to play in Champions League and in so good for that as far as that experience.
I just want to quickly shout out a couple of players. So much has been said. Like Lee just mentioned the price tag, right? Both Caicedo, I think he's been one of the best DMs in the league, and he's locked that place down. Like almost every game, it's a minimum 8 out of 10 performance. So we don't that long line of Chelsea like Makelele, Kanté, Obi Mikel. He's heading. He's not there yet, of course not.
I mean, but Obi, I'm not talking about Caicedo.
No. Well, Mikel wasn't ever a permanent guy, but he in that period after Makelele, before Matic came about, he played a really crucial role.
Were you going to say Matic, or you just mentioned him now?
Oh no, because the guy, I keep forgetting him, because he had his leg broken by some guy, and then he's never the same player again. So also he's white, so it doesn't really fit the pattern. Easy to forget.
Hilarious.
It's like a white guy in a tech company.
But that's like Lampard. Lampard is also a major before Conte. Yeah.
No, Caicedo, I think he's really locked that position down. And Enzo Fernandez, I was really disappointed in him the last season, because for me, if you're playing in that role between the 10 and the 6, you need to be you can't just like drift forward and not do the defensive side of the game. This season he's done that. I think he was kind of bothered by the hernia thing last season. He had that operation. He's been really good. And if you look at the stats, he's leading the league in goal contributions from if you take players who play behind the forward line. So I think he's ending with like 13 GA, which is perfect. I think that's where you want to be. If you're playing in that, that's really helped us. Like we're talking about how the Chelsea forwards haven't been scoring. People who have been scoring are people like Enzo Fernandes, Cucurella. So, and another guy I want to shout out is Cole Palmer. I know he is getting a lot of shit because the second half of the season hasn't been as good. And his scoring boots definitely, even today, like he took a shot, he just delayed it. By the time he takes a shot, like, the defender's already there. So he does need to get that shooting confidence back. But in terms of like controlling the game and his creativity, those numbers haven't really gone down. Just people have not, we don't have players who can like finish off what he creates.
He probably has lower back pain from carrying you guys for a year and a half.
Yeah.
So he's
like in terms of big chances created, he's second on the list behind Salah, and Salah's ending up with the Playmaker of the Year award, and Cole Palmer has got like not even half the assists that Salah's got. So we need to support him. We need to get him a number 9. Maybe another winger. Give him some support.
All right. We'll just run through the Newcastle game. Newcastle versus Everton. That was also one of the 4 games that I was watching. And I don't know who thought Everton was just going to mail it in because they had their Goodison farewell game last week. They act like this was the last game of Goodison. And you know how tough Newcastle is, especially at home. And this game meant something to them. And every time I like looked at that square on the TV, I saw Everton in Newcastle's ass and energetically like overmatched them. And then when they finally got the goal, I was like, I wasn't even surprised. I was just like, yeah, they like under Moyes, this Everton team has been rejuvenated energetically. I mean, they were already playing defensive on the dice, but now they attack better and they're getting results from some of the same players. They didn't buy anybody, And Dye is dribbling his ass off. So next year, let's see if he can play the way he ended this season. And they're losing to Corey. I don't know why, but that came across the thing yesterday. I don't know.
Yeah, he's just out of contract. They're letting him go.
How old is he?
I think he's like 32, maybe.
He's like, oh, damn. He might be a good free person to pick up for United. He plays with a lot of energy. Like he digs in and he's not afraid. He's here for it. That's a good person to pick up. But yeah, hats off to Everton, man, for taking out Newcastle. But Newcastle, you lucked out because the game that we were like, we're just sending people to the Champions League, Man United. Like we sent Spurs, hey man, go have a good time in Champions League for us. And then we're playing Aston Villa, who are also fighting for a Champions League spot today. And we're like, Newcastle, we'll take care of this for you. We got you. Go enjoy Champions League this weekend. And a lot of people are saying, where was the performance that United displayed today? Where was it against midweek in the Europa League final? And where was it like for a lot of games? But
you guys were good against Chelsea, like your previous game.
But that's the point. It's like there's games we lost towards the end of the season where we dominated teams, we outstatted teams, we just couldn't get the ball in the back of the net. But because when United lose, like even the game against Spurs, it wasn't the greatest Europa League final, but it was like, what an ugly game.
Like Spurs were better than you over the course of the game.
Exactly, but we lost, so it's
you lost by a goal,
game,
and there was a goal line clearance.
Did you see that goal?
Yeah, that was like that was the most non-own goal.
That was the most non-league Europa League goal in the history of championship goals. That's a pub goal, bro. Like like it just came off Shaw's belly and goes into the net. I gotta give, what's his name? Because Ben Johnson, who's usually the far post king, came near post. Like, God bless him for not trying to steal it. Like, there's some players that would try to say that's their goal. Like Harry Kane would have. And so we lost that game, and it was devastating for like a minute. But I think I hate the way the British media treats people and the way they treated Ange. And I was just happy for Ange more than I was disappointed for United. Like, once we lost, there's nothing I could do about it. But I found something to be happy about. And Ange, to not have to face that barrage, like, because they would annoy me too. So I identify with Ange, So the fact that he could like face them and be like, I said I would win in my second season a trophy, and here's a trophy. And I feel good for him. I feel good for Son. And maybe deep down, we would have a terrible season again, and maybe get relegated if we played in the Champions League and the Premier League. Yeah, this is better for us, I feel like, in the long run. We were struggling with the Europa League. Imagine having to play Champions League.
Amarim said that things are going to be fine.
I believe him. Like, look at Nottingham Forest. Look at the year Leicester won. Like, it can happen. I am worried that I know Garnacho fucked up after the Europa League, but we need to talk to him, and we need to, as adults, not be as emotional as him and get rid of him. Because even though we're going to buy some offensive players, people are calling up Talk Sports and they're saying we can't put the ball in the net, and they forget that we've given away offensive players like in the last few seasons. Like we gave away Rashford, we gave away Anthony, we've loaned out, we've gave away, who else have we given away? Sancho, and then we lost Greenwood, and we just and then Ronaldo argued his way out the club, and then Cavani left because he wasn't getting playing time, even though he was old. And and Marshall was just like pissed and just chilling. So we're just leaking offense. So not only do we have to buy, we have to try to keep some of what we got. Like Amarin, if you guys don't keep Sancho, at least for a season, Amarin got to talk to Sancho and try to get something out of him and say, we'll get rid of you. Have a good season, create some value, because we just have no subs or no options. We just don't. So we're just leaking offense. So that's why I am mad at Garnacho, but I don't think we should get rid of him, because I do feel like there's a good player in there. It's very frustrating to watch, and hopefully Mason Mount can stay healthy and show up more. Jesus Christ, like he had 36 touches in the first half today. You know how much he had in the entire Europa League final? 11. Like, how is this the last game of the season? First half, you got shots on goal, 36 touches. And where were you Wednesday, bro? You don't like midweek games?
I got to take off.
All right.
But I'll see you guys. I think we're doing one more, right? Next week.
Yeah, we're doing the Champions League.
All
right. Thanks for joining, brother.
Take it easy now.
Thanks.
Yeah. Bye. So, just for United, I'm glad we ended with a win. Sorry, Lloyd. I was talking to him this morning, and they were definitely robbed. That was definitely a goal.
It was a goal, but I don't agree with this whole we're going to sue the league. We're going to sue them for the amount that it costs to get in the Champions League. It's like, you might have, it's like they were playing pretty trash, like, when it happened. I don't think it was a given that if they'd scored that goal, the game ends 1-0 or in a Villa win. So
It wouldn't
it's
have.
like, and like, how many decisions that, like, I mean, I mentioned it in the chat as well. They benefited from a horrible decision that kept them up and sent Sheffield United down when a ball was like over the line, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
like, so, and it's like, over a course of a season, like, I know it's hard when it happens in a game that's pivotal, but they would have benefited from some bad decisions earlier in the season. They would have maybe been on the wrong end of some earlier in the season.
Have you ever heard of any Villa fan? The whole world's against them. And
I mean, again, we were talking about Liverpool fans earlier. That is just football fans in general.
it is.
Like I would have felt wrong. Like, I mean, we had one today where a guy, Sugawara, smashed the ball on a rebound from a corner and it hit Declan Rice on the arm, and it went to VAR and they just waved it away. And it's like, no, that shit was a handball. And if relegation had been riding on today, then I probably would have been raging as well. But yeah, football's a season's made up of so many moments, not just one. And like I say, I don't even know if they go on to get anything from that game, regardless of whether that goes in or not. So, they're playing with 10 men at the time. You were actually playing pretty well. So I think
killing them. We look like Villa. They look like Man United. It was crazy. Like, we was just all over them from the moment the game started. Ruben Amorim's system, 3-4-3, started to work the way we hoped it would have worked. I don't know what it was, what it did, and the subs worked. Everything worked. Like Lindelof, it's his last game. Thank you for your service, Lindelof. We still won some stuff with you. He's gone. Eriksen scored a pen, which Bruno handed him. He's gone.
That's a nice way for him to go out.
Yeah, and you got to think, there was one time, it was 2 years ago, when we had a midfield of Eriksen, Bruno Fernandes, and Casemiro. And it was one of the best midfielders in the league. And we won 2 trophies with Eriksen. And it was a free transfer. So even though it didn't work out towards the end and last year, still did some stuff. Grateful for that. And I forget who else is leaving. Garnacho, they probably are pissed at right now. Even if you're gonna sell him, you can't be like in public like he's out. Like, we want to get some value for him. It's tough to get value for a player you told the world you don't want and you're done at the club. And we stopped Villa and Marcus Rashford, if he goes back to Villa, from getting Champions League. We're like, yeah, no, you could buy him, but not for Champions League. No, we're not going to leave us and go Champions League. So let's stop you right there, Marcus. So yeah.
Although, if you're trying to offload him, Villa getting Champions League might have been the thing that gave them enough money to get him to get that £350,000 a week off your wage bill.
Well, maybe the money they sue the league for will help pay for him.
They ain't winning that case.
I know.
They ain't winning that case. They'd be idiots to even try and do it, to be honest. But hey ho. But I mean, they get to go in the Europa League next season, and Unai Emery is Mr. Europa League. So they got more chance of winning that than Champions League. And Champions League eliminated teams can't drop down into the Europa League anymore. So he's back where he belongs. Unai Emery, he's back in the Europa League. It's his spiritual home. So Villa fans, you could have a trophy next season.
And
you could be Spurs next season.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? A month ago, you could say that and everybody laugh at you, but a lot of people love to be Spurs right now. A lot of people love to be Crystal Palace. A lot of people would love to be teams they would never say they would like to be right now. But I was in that competition with Man United as a fan, and the only trouble, that team that can trouble them in that competition next year is Crystal Palace, who knocked them out of the FA Cup this year. That's the only team. Like, United was better than all. We walked through 2 Spanish teams and Lyon, who's supposed to be good in the French league. Like, those teams are like 5th and 6th and 4th or whatever. in their leagues. Zuba is on one of the teams, won a Euros, was an integral part. Was Zuba what? So, yeah, that's good. Villa, you should be fine next year. If you don't get to the finals, then Emery's lost his touch. We could want to trash Spurs a little bit. They play Brighton Hove, right?
Yeah. I mean, we got to wait to see if Martin comes on before we do it fully. We can talk about Brighton first. Like Brighton, really strong season for them, given that they had to go through another managerial change. And they showed that their succession planning worked again. Because I feel like although they didn't quite get the European spot, it's still a really strong season for them. They had some player turnover as well, and they dealt with that. And they've had a lot of players come through this season who some of them joined a little bit earlier, but this is the season where they shine, like Baleba, and some of the other guys they've brought in, like Minty has looked really dangerous. They've had players like Iari as well, Gruder. They got some players who've just come it's not out of nowhere, but like they've stepped up this season and sort of made their names known. So, really, really strong season from them. Hinchelwood come through the academy there as well. They're not just a signing club. They got players, they got their own coming through as well. And
he scored like 2 today, right? Like one was a back heel. That's how much disrespectful they were to Spurs. Hinchel scored a back heel.
Yeah, and I mean, he didn't play today, but Welbeck been rolling back the years this season. Like he's the fact that they've I think it's his highest scoring season ever.
Hilarious.
Which is mad. Like, but he stepped up and he's running around with the kids, having fun. So like Brighton, it's got to be classed as a good season for them, even though they didn't get European football, which is what they would have wanted. But they've been an impressive team. They got a nice balance to them, and I'm obviously always pleased to see a team roll over Tottenham and make sure they can't even reach the bare minimum of 40 points.
No, 39. 39. Speaking of 39, here he comes.
Perfect timing.
I know, perfect timing. Hopefully.
Yes, sir.
Martin, perfect timing. We were just talking about how wonderful Brighton were today versus Tottenham Hotspurs. And are you going to thank me, a Man United fan, for letting you win the Euro Cup final, and putting you in Europe?
No, you're gonna thank me for validating that podcast with someone who won a trophy this year. You have a real winner on the podcast. What about having a winner for a change on the podcast?
Yeah, Ian brought an FA Cup to the podcast last year.
Yeah, and a Carling Cup.
I bought a championship playoff final
and a Europa League and other FA Cup under Mourinho.
So regarding what you just said, and I'm gonna continue on that. I mean, great for Brighton. They were able to get some leftover champagne. I'm sure they enjoyed their stay. I'm sure they're very happy with the atmosphere. Everybody was drunk. Everybody was hangover. I'll tell you this, and I was skeptical of Ange at certain portions of this season, but I see
certain portions.
Yeah, I see what he was trying to do. Listen, what he was trying to do was a very risky thing to do, and it's the same thing Amorim was doing in the last 2-3 months, which is forget the Premier League. The other 3 teams are terrible. There's no danger for us going down. Let's just focus on winning the trophy. And both teams, that was the strategy. We're pretty much losing every single game. It's not a coincidence that Man U won finally a game at the end of the season because there's nothing else to fight for. As long as there was something else to fight for, the whole strategy of Man U was to win the Europa League, and they were experimenting on the Premier League games. But we just experimented a little bit better because he was really preparing for that moment. He was really preparing to win that trophy. He said
let me finish. Well, let me just say one thing. You think the ball bouncing off Shaw's stomach for an own goal is preparation. It's just a fine margin that worked in your advantage.
No, I mean, of course, it's always fine margin. When Germany beat Argentina in 1990 World Cup final, it was a very dubious penalty. It was a penalty. It was a very light foul that decided everything. The game was tied until 86th minute. Nobody cares. Lothar Matthäus won the MVP of the tournament. Germany beat Argentina, and they deserved it. So, because sometimes you just play a certain way, and life rewards you in the final. Tottenham were the best team in the Europa League this season. They were really winning all the important games, and then they won the most important game. And
we had the toughest route, Martin.
No, that doesn't matter. Listen, it doesn't matter.
We played Lyon.
Listen, it doesn't
Bilbao,
matter. We played Roma. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
We played Roma.
We beat United 4 out of 4 times this season. That is not going. We beat them 4 out of 4 times. But going back, and let me finish. Going back to the initial point. So what Postecoglou was trying to do was a change of philosophy. And I remember when we were on this podcast 10 years ago, and I was telling that you as Man U are living based on history, but not present and future. And I can see 10 years from now, I'm going to say the same thing because...
Bro, you win 1 trophy and you're
telling me... because there is the culture that's being lost at United after Sir Alex Ferguson left. There's no more culture of building a winning franchise. I remember the first years of Ferguson. It was pretty much a copy of the Postecoglou is doing. We also struggled. Ferguson struggled. But then there was a switch. And hopefully that's a switch for us too. He went with a plan to win 1 trophy in the second season and nothing else mattered. It was a very risky move because if it didn't pay off, he would get fired. But it did pay off. And guess what? The history is being written by the winners, and he just wrote the first chapter. And hopefully that's the start of something very, very beautiful. And let me tell you this, the players that I really want to win something, they will go to Tottenham, not to United next year, because they will play in the Champions League. And
which players are those? Which players are those?
Players that want to come to Premier League and make a lot of money because nobody else will pay them more than the Premier League team.
And Levy's not paying nobody. That's your problem.
Well, listen, but that also, he won the trophy now. He might like the taste of it.
He might.
Winning changes things. Winning changes things and changes people.
Fine margins happen also off the pitch. And the thing that hurts your fine margin off the pitch is Dan Levy spending money. But we'll see. But
that's judging on the past. Let's see what's the next step. If it's a one great story of a season, cool, I'll take it. I waited for it a long time. But maybe it's time to build something on that. Because to be quite honest with you, except of Liverpool and let's see what happens with City when Pep leaves, I don't see a franchise that has a structure of being dominant for the years to come. The Liverpool, they have that. They have the blueprint to be very successful.
So you're just waiting for your parents to die to inherit their money, basically.
No. What I'm trying to say is that there's a lot up for grabs in the upcoming seasons because there's, like in the past you had Abramovich Chelsea that we would be always competitive. You had Sir Alex Ferguson United. You had Arsenal with Arsene Wenger. So those were like
there was a lot up to grab when Leicester won.
No, I understand that, but the off season will always happen. The off season will always happen. But what I'm saying is that those were the powerhouses. There is no powerhouses except of Liverpool right now.
Arsenal and Man City.
What Arsenal won? No, what Arsenal won? I'm talking if Pep stays in the city for next 5-10 years, sure. But if Pep leaves and they're not able to build something, after he leaves, because Arsenal they haven't done that since Arsene Wenger left. They're not the same franchises they were under Arsene Wenger, and none is Chelsea since Abramovich left.
Sound like you don't trust the process, bro.
I trust the process, but we're talking about 2 different things.
No, I'm just talking shit about Arteta. I'm joking.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You remember this is a football fun podcast.
Got you. Yeah. No, I feel you. I see what you're saying. Because trust the process is also in the NBA, the 76ers anyway, which didn't work out. So you have Liverpool that is set to be always fighting for titles for the next 5-10 years, and that's it. So there's a lot of playground being formed right now, and if Tottenham can build on that success and build something stable with Ange, We will win the title in the next 5 years.
Can I just say something?
Yep.
I mean, this win must have opened up your positive chakra, because
It did.
you haven't been on the podcast in a while, but the last 10 times you've been on,
Exactly.
in the beginning of the season, Ange out. I said, what
No,
if
it
he
wasn't.
this?
It wasn't the
Ange
beginning. It
out.
was like
No,
3 months. 3 months in. 3 months in. Yeah.
Yeah, you were Ange out, bro.
Like I said, history.
Ange's been losing
history,
games. How many
history is
games did you
being
lose
written
this
for
season?
winners.
22 in the Premier League? You've been losing for a minute.
I agree, but we won the
ain't
one
just-
that mattered.
It ain't just since it's before December.
We won one that mattered.
So you've been wanting Ange gone. You're like,
Yeah.
even you
If he
even
didn't
said,
win, if he didn't win Europa League, but he did. And sometimes that's all you need. You need to have that, that one thing that will push you over the top, and he did. And listen, I wasn't a fan, and there was a lot of things to complain about, but he won the trophy. Nothing else matters. Everything else, sometimes that's how it works.
I love this.
One thing happens, and everything else
I love
doesn't
this.
matter.
You know what? I love this.
Yeah.
Because, you were like, I can't believe Man United kept Ten Hag after the FA Cup final win.
Yeah, but you can't compare Europa League to FA Cup. It's not the same.
You both end up in Europe, and you both beat a top team.
Not Champions League. You don't get to Champions League through FA Cup.
We beat the treble winners from the year before in a
Doesn't
final.
Matter. Europa League is a major competition. Major competition.
You said Europa League is a major competition? Yeah, that's what we said.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you could be making the same drunk mistake that you claimed we made. And
but you didn't win at the end of the day.
But even I feel like you said on the podcast, you didn't care if we won a trophy, you wanted him gone. But that winning that trophy,
I didn't say that if you won a trophy.
Lee, am I on my own here? Just jumping, bro.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, winning a trophy is an achievement. Like, no one can take that away. Even if it is a second-rate trophy and you beat a bunch of second-rate teams.
It's not a second-rate trophy. Are you
kidding? It is. It's a second-rate trophy.
It's the second biggest trophy in football, in the club football. It's the second biggest trophy after winning the Champions League.
No, it's not. Winning the Premier League is bigger than winning the Europa League.
Winning the Europa League is bigger.
No, that's complete bullshit. It's less of an achievement than most national leagues. Even the FA Cup has stronger teams in it.
If we won Conference League, then I would agree with you. But no, Europa League is a former UEFA Cup. It's a major competition.
No, since they took the Champions League teams out of it, and since they added more teams into the Champions League, it's become a second-rate trophy. Like the top, because it's what the fifth, sixth, seventh best teams.
So what you say about Chelsea
country.
and Conference League? What kind of trophy is that?
Third-rate.
All right.
And it's the same when West Ham won it. If West Ham can win it, then it's not important. So yeah, it don't really mean anything unless Southampton win it, and then it's the most important trophy ever.
I agree with that attitude.
But no, like the FA Cup's harder to win than the Europa League. Like they're one-off games, and you've got Man United, you've got Liverpool, you've got Arsenal, you've got Man City, you've got all these guys in there. You've got there's more Champions League teams in the FA Cup than there is in the Europa League. The FA Cup is harder to win. So Palace is bigger achievement. Palace are
Toyota
bigger achievement than Tottenham.
How about Toyota Cup in America in July? There's more teams, even bigger teams there. You don't?
Yeah, it's pre-season. Pre-season, it's a workout. Pre-season doesn't count. FIFA Club World Cup don't count either. Whoever wins that.
Oh, really?
All right. Yeah, that's to me that's a post-season tournament.
Well, then let's be realistic. It's Conference League is Conference Cup is a made-up cup, but Europa League is a former UEFA Cup, which is second most important trophy in European football, and it always has been.
No, it used to be. It used to be when only 2 teams got into the Champions League or whatever, or 3 teams. Since they opened it up to just almost anyone, then
not almost anyone, Spurs.
Yeah, and let's not beat around the bush. You have had a disgraceful season. You finished on a relegation level amount of points by losing. This is the most games Tottenham have ever lost in a season.
They've lost 20. No, but ask any Tottenham fan if they care. And if any Tottenham fan if they care.
I'm not saying you should care, but I'm saying you should be worried because Ange has cucked you into giving him another season, and he's terrible. He is terrible.
Well, listen,
he's a great guy, but I don't think he's a very good football manager at this level. He's been found out at this level completely.
We'll see. I mean, it's been fool's gold the second part of the season. You know, like I was with you for a while because they played really poorly, but now I'm buying into the concept that they were really focusing on winning Europa League, and they decided to put you know, it's like you're in the war and you want to win, you want to attack the other troops in their weak spot.
For 22 games. For 22
he put his entire army on that front, on Europa.
No,
League
but
front,
some of those games,
if you can't moderately cope with 2 competitions,
but
then he shouldn't be a Premier League manager.
To beat like the
Shouldn't be a Premier League manager.
We beat United twice, you know, like when we wanted to
4
play,
times.
we played, you know, like there are some games that we played.
Shouldn't be a Premier League manager if you can only cope with 1 competition. That's not a Premier League quality
manager.
manager.
Let's see what happens next year.
That's a fat, useless Australian
let's
who
see.
can only win shit cups.
The only chance I give Ange next year.
Oh, you're gonna give it a chance. He beat your ass 4 times out of 4.
Yeah, fine.
You're gonna give him a chance.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll give him, but listen, you lost so many games in the league that a lot of yeah, fine, but a lot of fans, most fans from other teams, don't rate him. So here's the chance: like he has to admit that it's not who we are, mate, which he admitted in the Europa League, and especially in the Europa League final. I was like, who is Conte back coaching this team? Because that's is Mourinho? Is that Mourinho in a fat suit? In an Australian Greek fat suit, like coaching, like that was not Ange ball. But that's my chance. Like he has to next year, and I told you this, I think on the phone. Like once he gets the lead, he has to Mourinho this shit up and close it down and play counterattacking football. If he goes gung ho with Porro and Doggy, number one, you're gonna get injuries, and then you not only even before the injuries, you're gonna give up. You guys gave up a lot of goals. So he has to, there's no way, he can't be looking at this data and not be like, all right, I have to, not just in this final or in the Europa League, I have to find out where I can be better defensively. Like, even if he plays like still slot style and be like, all right, once we get the ball, let's not attack right away. Let's set up and then attack so that if we lose the ball, we can counter. Like, if he doesn't make some type of an adjustment, he's out. Because I don't believe the full story.
He's got at least a year, maybe 2 years, you know. And first of all, I'm 100%. You know, when you win the trophy, that changes things.
Martin Eric Ten Hag won 2 trophies, went to 3 finals.
He didn't win Europa League. He didn't win Europa League plus the buys, the buys he made were bad buys. He made good buys, Angie. He made good buys. That's first of all. Second of all, we have to see what roster will start the season with, because I have a feeling that we will actually be very active on the transfer market, and the team will be much stronger next.
What do you need? What do you need?
Well, we're gonna buy good. We're gonna buy very.
But
what
do you don't sound like, don't trump and just say big words. We're gonna buy good.
We need fullbacks. We need fullbacks. We need one more.
You feel like you need fullbacks?
Yeah, I do. We need more complete players as fullbacks. Like someone.
But that's my point. Do you need fullbacks, or do you need Ange to be like, hey?
No, we need fullbacks who are like more compact players. You know, that can.
You need a goalkeeper as well. Vicario's trash.
What are you talking about? He's player of the game in the final. He's great.
You want the player of the game today? I'll tell you that much.
He was drunk, man.
And he wasn't the player of the game most of the season.
Oh, come on. You know how is he playing after drink? He's Argentine. You know, he's Italian. He had probably
All the team have got to do is swing corners and they're going to score against you.
He had like probably 5 bottles of Chianti before the game. Come on.
Was he drinking those before all the other games where he's been shipping weak goals?
He could be.
How early was he celebrating?
Listen, he wasn't drinking before one game that matters. That he wasn't drinking, or maybe he was. Who knows?
Yeah. You need a centre forward that's going to score some goals. Solanke's a bust.
What are you talking about? Solanke was okay.
Solanke might actually get better.
He started playing for England when he came to Spurs.
Solanke might actually get better. So I like Solanke.
How many goals he scored this season, Martin?
I would have to count. I don't remember.
Only 5. 10, if 5 the most.
No, he's got 10 goals, I think.
No, bro. I don't know.
He scored 9 in all competitions.
Okay, 9. It was close.
No, I think that's Premier League actually.
Nah, There's no way.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
He did.
not- I mean,
There was a point where he was scoring every game for like 5 games. I remember that.
That's for about 5 games. That's no Kane replacement, is it? Those aren't Kane numbers.
No, they're not
Downgraded
Kane numbers. They're not Kane
massively.
numbers.
and Son is
Kane,
falling
but there's only
off.
one. There's only one Hurricane.
Son is falling off. You can't really count on
Yeah.
Richarlison.
No,
Kulusevski's made of glass.
Kulusevski's
made
a
of
good
glass.
player. Kulusevski's a good player, but like I said, we're gonna strengthen the squad. We're gonna spend money. We're gonna strengthen the squad. We just got 80 mil. We're gonna meet the Champions League. Players will want to come. Definitely, I'll tell you this.
They're paying for that
100%.
stadium. That 80 million on
100%.
transfers.
100%. When a player has a chance to go to Tottenham or United, will go to Tottenham. I'll tell you that for sure.
Is that why we got Acuna? Here we go already. Before this podcast started,
For crazy money, the guy who was playing for Wolves. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Martin. When Ronaldo got bought to Liverpool from a relegated Newcastle team, and Southampton that finished at the bottom of the table. Mane went to Liverpool to Klopp. Said what?
He came from Newcastle. Wijnaldum.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said.
Yeah.
When they got relegated.
Yeah.
So this is how you bought.
Yeah, but
what's
he's
his
not
name?
He's not gonna change
What's
United
his
into
name?
a contender.
Hull, the guy from the Roberts was at Hull when they got relegated. Robertson went to Liverpool. What are you saying?
But Liverpool was already a very good team. Like this is not a very good team.
They weren't.
Plus, look who like what happened to.
I just named the
McTominay
spine of their team.
McTominay, player of the season in Italy. Elanga, great. All those players, and now look how many players want to leave. Garnacho said
You're just proving my point. Like Man United, before you came on, right?
It's a chaos.
Before you came on, I was telling how many goals we've just given away, and I forgot about McTominay, who is not just Serie A winner, but he is the MVP of the entire Italian league. Yes. But he wasn't doing that shit for us. He wasn't. Like, I don't know how Kanté taught him. And I don't think he always was bringing the ball out the back.
But he was scoring goals for you guys.
The Italian league has got to be easier. I've seen so many. He was
scoring important goals for United.
No, he did.
He didn't have a player like that.
He did, and he scored important goals for Scott. But he was a liability for us in a lot of places. He wouldn't show up all the time, bro.
Well, I mean, maybe he was being played out of position or in the wrong system. Like sometimes you just have to. You have to build a team around the strengths of your players, not like exposing their weaknesses.
So let me ask you: who would you build your team around, McTominay or Bruno Fernandes? It's going to be Fernandes, right?
I mean, Fernandes I would sell for good money, and he's also a
No. I'm talking about back then.
I wouldn't build around Fernandes. I would have a Fernandes as my starting lineup player, but he's not a leader. He's a very bad leader. He whines and cries and argues and screams, and he's not a leader. And we saw that in the final. We talked during the final. He doesn't act as a leader, and he shouldn't.
I didn't agree with that.
He shouldn't be the cornerstone of your team. He should be a good first 11 player and just play, but not to be the captain, not to be. He was a terrible captain.
Martin, you have no idea what Bruno Fernandes' stats are.
I like him as a player, but I don't like him as a leader. I wouldn't build around him. That's what I'm saying.
I would
take him to
listen. You're moving the argument or the conversation. You were saying something about we should have built around McTominay.
And I didn't say that. You asked me if I would build around McTominay or Fernandes. You said,
right,
and I said I definitely wouldn't build around Fernandes. I didn't say that I would build around McTominay.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like a year ago, not.
No, I wouldn't build around Fernandes. He's not the leader. He's not the guy who can.
But you wouldn't have built around McTominay a year ago either. Neither. And I gave you two choices. So the only person you could have built around 2 years ago was Fernandes.
No, none of them are players who you can build around, really.
I gave you two choices, and I asked you who would you build around 2 years ago.
I would look for a third choice.
2 years ago, he won the Champions League, the whatchamacallit, the FA Cup and the Carling Cup. So, and we finished
No,
fourth.
he's
third.
a very good player. I just don't like him as a captain and a leader of the team because I don't think he has a charisma or character. You had Roy Keane as your captain. You had Eric Cantona as your captain. You know, like those are the players that
You just brought up us living in the past. You're living in our past more than I am.
Yeah, no, I know, but you need that. Like Son, he was really not that great in the final, but he was the leader. You know, like he was leading by example. The players are really feeding off him. You know, like you have to exuberate that kind of energy. Like he was beloved and most liked. I don't think that
I've seen
Bruno is that liked.
You guys rewrite history 3 days later. I've seen so many Spurs fan all season disappointed in Son and saying he shouldn't start and he shouldn't this and we have to sell him. You guys win one game.
I don't know. I didn't say that.
That Europa League final works better than the Men in Black pen because you guys don't remember anything that you said over the last.
I wasn't saying
season.
anything about Son. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I just heard the fans. Let's keep going. This is fun. It's good to this is what the podcast was born about, like the back and forth and talking shit. And but so we just start talking about you guys getting your ass beat by Brighton Hove. Bournemouth. Let me see who Bournemouth beat.
Leicester.
2-0. Yeah,
good team. Bournemouth, good team that had some bad moments in the season, but Kepa definitely showed that he is a better goalkeeper than everybody was giving him credit at Chelsea. I would say Chelsea would take him, kissing his hands and feet, to be back.
Is it because he's with Bournemouth and it's less pressure?
I think they were trashing him, like too soon. He's a good goalkeeper.
It was kind of he's not as bad as they thought he was. I agree. But is he doing better? Does he look good now because he's at Bournemouth and there's less pressure at Bournemouth than Chelsea? And you got to remember, Chelsea finished in a Champions League spot, no matter how much. And they had the third best defense in the league.
And the worst goalkeeper in the league. Yeah.
Expectations are a different level. Media attention is a different level. Also, he's a Basque guy and he's playing for a Basque manager as well. So that probably helps a little bit too. But I mean, Chelsea won't be sad. Like his value's gone up while he's there. So
yeah,
it's not a bad thing for them. So yeah, congrats to him for a good season and Bournemouth for a good season. I mean, they've been massively impressive. It'd be interesting to see how they do next season with some of their defense getting gutted out because Huijsen's off to Real Madrid. And Kerkez is probably going to go to Liverpool. So we see how they've still had some other guys who played really well from at the back.
Semenya.
He's been in midfield. He's been great. But like Zabani at the back is a very good player as well. They've got some. Senesi has been injured for a little bit, but he was really good before he got injured. So I think he might have come back today. But yeah, and then
go ahead. Sorry.
Like the attacking players, like they absolutely did Tottenham by selling them Solanke for the fee they did, and then just signing Evan Nilsson for a lower price. Like that's good business for them. They hoodwinked Spurs there completely on that one.
Solanke is an England player. Don't forget that he's an England player.
He's an England bench warmer, and he didn't even deserve to get in this squad, to be honest. So
he didn't deserve to get in the squad so much. They went to Saudi Arabia and got what's his name back.
Tony's in there as well. Yeah,
Ivan Toney.
Tony is a good player. What do you want?
No, he is a good player.
He's a good player.
He's a good player, but he's retired, so he should be in the squad.
He's a rich man. I'll tell you that. He's a very rich man.
Yeah,
he is. I'm not going to knock that.
Yeah. He probably just joined the England squad if they promised to help him bring his suitcases full of money back so he could play for England from Saudi Arabia. Brentford, what do y'all think about Brentford's season? And let me see who they played.
Mbeumo is a player that will be targeted this summer for sure. He's
20 goals.
He's a special player. I mean, he has to go. He has to go to one of the better teams for sure.
Yeah, he's outgrown Brentford for sure.
Does he have to go to one of the better teams or a worse team that used to be a better team?
Or like a team that won something? Maybe I'll take it.
Let me tell you something. Dan Levy would never pay Brentford's asking price for Mbeumo. The day he does that, I'll take you to lunch. And we live up the street from each other.
Well, it depends what the asking price. Depends what the asking price is.
20 goals, Martin. They should be no, and you're in the Champions League.
Yeah.
You should. You just won 80 mil.
But do you think, like Lee, do you think that he's a world-class player, or do you think he's like one of those that if he goes to another team, he might struggle?
He's Mane, bro.
I don't think he's a nothing's guaranteed in football, but the numbers he's been putting up in the Premier League for multiple seasons, you can't argue with. Like he's a match winner in the Premier League, plain and simple, on a consistent basis. Set pieces, strong, creates goals, scores goals. So you can't you can't look down on that. So I think he has the potential to play for any team in the league, in my opinion.
Who do you think could use him the best? Right, Arsenal probably. Who do you think?
Nah, because he comes in off the right on his left foot, and that's kind of a Saka position. So I think they'd get in each other's way. I heard at one point that if Salah was going to go, Liverpool were looking at him to replace Salah, and obviously Salah's staying now, so that wouldn't be a good move. So
United probably, right? He would be perfect for United then.
But he said he comes off the right. We got Ahmad over there, so we need somebody definitely for the left.
Yeah.
First,
it depends how much you want to rotate and how much you want to potentially stunt Ahmad's development. Because you've already had Garnacho in that. They both want to play that position.
Yeah, but Garnacho's leaving. He said it that he doesn't want to play there anymore.
I don't think Garnacho's leaving, but he can't start.
No, he said he doesn't want to play there anymore, and
he did not say that.
Out of the squad.
He's pissed.
Yeah,
it's not that quite clear. He wasn't there today. Onana wasn't there today, but doesn't mean
Fabrizio Romano reported that, so I believe it.
No, he said I think I saw a press conference today with Amorim, and he said Garnacho is a part of the Man United. That's what he said today after the game today.
Okay.
Yeah, because it would be stupid. I know Romano said that, and what's his name? And normally when they say stuff that happened, and it might have happened, but I think they cool down. And Garnacho, he's a fucking annoying, bro. He's frustrating.
Apparently, he said something to Amorim after the game. He said they had like argument after the game that he was really upset that he didn't play, that he didn't start in the Europa League final, and they had some back and forth in the locker room, and apparently that's why he was not even on the bench today. That they had like a problem, you know.
Right. He said in the press, I played for United for most of the season. I helped them get here, and I only played 20 minutes in the final. And say, hey, Garnacho, you forgot all the missed chances? Like, you be a team player. Come off the bench, try to win the game. Plus, they just lost. He's kind of sore. I get it. And he's a young kid, and his brother be tweeting the wildest shit. Doesn't help us.
Yeah.
I hope cooler head prevail. I believe that he needs some good coaching, and I feel like we will regret this if we let him go.
Yeah, I think he needs to grow as an individual as well, though, if he wants to stay. Like, he's behaved immaturely, but he's a young person, so you can't always hold that against someone. They can grow and learn, and it depends if he does that. And also, what I would say is he needs to confiscate his brother's phone as well, because his brother's a dickhead, constantly talking nonsense on social media. So just it all smacks of just bad attitude. But like I say, I always think young players should be given some leeway, not completely, but they should be given some leeway to learn and grow and make mistakes, because that happens with people who haven't matured fully yet. So I think he's definitely got the ability to stay. Like, it's not an ability question, I don't think. So it just depends whether you want to cash in, because also there's the fact that United, with no European football next season, are under some financial pressures. You know, Jim Radcliffe's out there firing lunch ladies. So
he lost some crazy money on like stock. Like He lost like
I think-
half of his fortune. For what happened really? That I
I
saw
think
that-
some of the Trump policies probably
yeah.
lost all
Everybody
the
did.
billionaires. Yeah, all the billionaires lost money because of that. So yeah, selling Garnacho could net them pure profit in PSR terms because he's technically an academy product.
Yeah, but
so-
you have to. You can't. It's like it's one thing to sell a player, but to get like a, I'm saying, to get like a bona fide scorer, they're just not around. So you have to, if you have one, like you said, you see the potential, you have to mature it, and you have to go through the growing pain of being a patient parent and knowing the right things to say, or maybe you shouldn't even be the coach. You know what I mean? Or the organization. So we have to figure that out. Let's see who else we're talking about. Fulham, we talked about them a little bit. They put up a good fight today, a decent season for them.
Oh,
What do you
one
think?
last thing, Lee, because I'm interested in what you think. We're talking about Bomo. What about City? What you think it looks like he could be a good fit there, right?
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have certain gaps they need to plug this season or next season. It depends where Pep sees Foden long term.
Because if De Bruyne leaves, right?
Yeah, because he might move Foden into the middle, play him as a 10 more. Because Foden and Mbeumo are sort of similar profile, both left-footed, can play off the right, can also play as a 10. Would they play? I mean, he could definitely do a job in that. Like I said, I think he could play for any team in the league, Mbeumo. It just depends what team want to pay for him and what team can accommodate him in terms of the other pieces they would have to move around in their teams as well. But I think he could play for anyone. He's that good.
Okay.
Brentford, we talked about in Fulham. Decent season. Silva, give him props and for coaching Fulham to 11th. And that's not much I want to say. They put up a good fight against City. You can tell it by the score, but it was a really exciting game today. They came to win, but they didn't. Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. We talked about that game earlier when we talked about Liverpool. They finished 12th. They both give each other honor guard. Two teams with trophies on the pitch. And showing off, giving each other the honor guard. They regard, and they both tied, so they didn't lose the last game of the season. So hats off to them for winning their first trophy in the history of their club, and they get into Europe, and so dope for them. Everton, like Moyes turned this. Were they in a relegation zone when Moyes joined them?
I'm not sure if they were, but if they weren't, they were close.
Or hovering.
I think they were actually. I think they were.
Yeah. He really. I don't know how he did it. I don't know where they got the goals from without buying anybody. There was no goals in this team, and all of a sudden, there's goals. And goals is what you need to turn the season around. And they did it without Calvin Lewin on the field. Beto started just being better, and Dyer has stepped up, and Decore's been doing his thing for a minute. It's just sometimes he didn't need other people to jump in and join him. They lost Onana in preseason, got sold to Villa, but shit, there's more in this Everton team. Let's see what they buy. West Ham, what do you guys think about West Ham? They won.
Yeah, boring team. Really boring team.
Yeah. You know what West Ham remind me of? When they is this real or is it cake? And then when they put the knife on it and it cut through it, that's West Ham is cake. It's cake. Like every team just cuts through them. Like
they got a lot to thank Jared Bowen for.
Yes.
He has bailed them out this season. He's turned a potentially shitty season into just a mediocre season.
Yeah, and I saw something on Polish media. I didn't read the full story, but people were very upset that they didn't really thank Fabianski, who is leaving.
Oh.
They didn't play him in like the last game and didn't honor him on the field, and a lot of people are upset about that.
Is he leaving? This is last season?
Yeah, he's like 40 or 41. Yeah,
he's out of contract.
He could still keep.
Yeah.
Like in the Prem.
Yeah.
They played him today. You did okay. You couldn't do anything about the goal.
They stopped playing him recently. I noticed that, but I don't blame this team.
Oh, it was about a contract. They didn't offer him new contract. Yeah. Yeah.
Fabianski's he's legit.
Yeah.
Man United, we made it to 15th from 16th. So yeah, like Tottenham, you might win the Euros and be in the Champions League, but you're 2 places behind us. we got a Wolves sandwich going on. Wolves is 16th. It's a good season for them. Like they're praising this coach. They even said on NBC that their new coach that came, I think he came in December, should be considered for coach of the year. I think that's way too far and that's overboard.
That's crazy.
Right? And let's see how he does without Cunha. Like they're gonna be selling goals and important players.
I don't think he's that good. I think they can easily replace him with someone from like French or Italian league. I don't think he's that great, but
did Spurs lose to Wolves this year?
I'm sure we did. We even lost to
Spurs lost to almost everyone apart from Southampton and United. Everyone else beat the Spurs.
Yeah, that is correct. We won actually 6 out of 6 against your 2 teams.
Damn. Shit.
And we changed 2 coaches at Southampton, right? We fired 2 Southampton managers right after the game.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
Because that's a sackable offence, losing to Tottenham.
I'll have a question about one specific player to you, Lee, because I can ask now, right? Why not? What do you think of Ramsdale? I mean, 2 years ago he was considered like the best English goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of him?
He's been great. He's been one of the few people who can have credit.
Do you think you can lose him before the season?
Yeah. He'll 100% leave. He's a Premier League goalkeeper. He shouldn't be playing in the Championship. But even today, there was one where Arsenal played like a ball over the top, and Martinelli was through 1v1. He pulled off a great save. Like our problems this season haven't been because of Ramsdale. He's prevented some humiliating losses being even more humiliating. None of it's his fault.
Hilarious. Yeah, Ramsdale problem is Southampton. It's vice versa, not the other way around. Leicester. Speaking of, if West Ham is cake, Leicester's a cupcake. Like, just no resistance football. Jamie Vardy solo with Red Bull, like just holding the yolk of that cake together. And shout out to Jamie Vardy. He's gonna try to stay in the Prem. He should be coming off the bench for 10, 20 minutes a game, causing horror to defenders. So, he could be Teddy Sheringham for somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, the Leicester, they've lost their formula. I think since they had the owner, there was a pretty good owner that died in this helicopter accident, this freakish accident. Right outside the stadium, and ever since they've been struggling. I think they had a formula and they completely lost it.
I think they won an FA Cup after he died, so
they did.
We didn't too badly. But they did the thing where people just get managerial appointments wrong and they get certain transfers wrong. Interestingly, on that note, Russell Martin, our former manager who got us promoted last season and started the season with us, he's apparently going to be taking the Leicester job in the next few days.
Oh shit!
Because Rude's out, so that'll be interesting because we're going to come up against him. Nathan Jones just got promoted back to the Championship with Charlton today, so we're going to come up against all our former managers next season. Nathan Jones is going to be in there. Russell Martin's going to be in there. We got our derby against Portsmouth back as well. So lots going on next season. But yeah, Russell Martin's apparently going in there, but also Leicester are potentially going to get hit with a points deduction. They kept avoiding it by going up and down leagues because they would break the rules and then go up, and you can't get punished if you're not in the same league still.
Right.
So they just kept breaking rules and jumping up and down, but apparently they're going to get hit by the Championship regulators for what they did last time they were in the Championship, because they were way, way, way outside of financial fair play.
So you think you're going to lose points at the beginning of the season? They might go into the other league.
Yeah. They reckon anywhere from like 6 to 12.
Jeez.
Yeah.
They don't really have any like outstanding players on that team, right? There's not like someone that people will be fighting for.
They got a couple. I don't know if anyone will pay big money for them, but there's a guy who's been injured for a lot of this season called Steffi Mavididi, who I think is very good. They got James McAteer, the young kid, who looks very. I think it's James. It might be a different one. The surname is definitely McAteer. He looks very good. El Canous, I think a Premier League team could pay money for. He's like 20 or something, and he looks really exciting. But yeah, other than that, there's not that many players there who are going to attract big fees. So yeah, interesting times for them.
Yeah. Ipswich. You know, every time I saw them,
they started well.
Yeah, and every time I saw them play, they played with spirit. You know, like I never thought they never tried, and I feel like I don't know, Karen McKenna. They feel like they're happy with him, keeping him. He's one of the few coaches on a team that's going down, or the only coach on a team that's going down that's going to keep his job. So the only thing is they're going to have to find another Delap because he's definitely bouncing, and that's he scored 12 in the Premier. Imagine how much he could score in the Championship. And I hope Karen talks to him and says, "Go to United," you know, because we need that. We need that 100%. But, you know, Ipswich, great senior, man. Well played. And then we're down to number 20, Southampton.
I mean, just not much to say. I've accepted this fate since like before Christmas. So this is, yeah, there wasn't even really any sadness in the stadium today. It was just like, oh yeah, we knew this was happening.
They've all been Championship games since December.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a terrible season. I've counted it up as well. Like I went to 14 games this season, and I saw 5 goals.
Ooh,
oh wow!
Shit.
I saw us score 5 goals in 14 games.
Damn.
Which is
You also
pretty
saw five
terrible.
goals we scored there.
Yeah, I saw just as many goals in one game for Tottenham. So I saw Brentford scored 5 against us. You're not special. You're not special. I've seen.
They give it up to everybody.
We did it in a half, though. We did it in the first half.
Yeah, I didn't see us keep a single clean sheet this season. I don't think in any of the games I've been to. I've seen plenty of teams keep clean sheets against us. But yeah, I mean, just truly a terrible season, with the only saving grace being that we weren't the worst Premier League team ever on points, but we are the worst Premier League team ever on games lost. Because we lost 30, which is a new record in the 20 team league.
And you almost lost as much as Tottenham.
What do you think? What do you think, Lee? Is there a danger that you can go like Luton did this season?
No, absolutely not. No, and I've seen some of our fans saying that on Twitter, going like, "Oh, we're going to be Luton." It's like, no, we're not going to be Luton. Like, I don't know if we're going to come straight back up. I mean, we'll be trying to, but if we don't come straight back up, we'll be close.
Why would your fans say that? You guys are a professional yo-yo team. They better have some respect.
That's Sheffield. That's Sheffield.
We're not a professional yo-yo team. Do you know how many times we've been during the Premier League era? So from '92 onwards, do you know how many times we've been promoted to the Premier League?
3 times.
Twice.
Twice. Oh, shit.
And those two times were like a decade apart as well.
How many? What's the longest you've been out? Last year you was out one. The year before you was out 1 year. How long were you out the year before that?
The year before that, we were out for like 5, maybe more
years,
because we went all the way down to League One, then came all the way back up. So I've seen us go down, but when we went all the way down to League One, that was because we were in administration, like the club was bust. We lost all our money, and then we came back up. But we're actually in a really good financial position, which helps us. Like we're already like pretty clear on PSR at the moment, but also we're going to have player sales incoming from like Ramsdale. We'll at least get back what we paid for him, maybe get a little bit more. but probably a similar fee to what we paid for him. Like Dibbling, if he goes, pure profit. Matthias Fernandes will make profit on him. Carl Walker-Peters, he's going on a free, but it frees up money on the wage bill.
If you sell all of that, though, how are you going to come back up? That's dangerous.
By buying players, that's what we got to do. Like we did it last time we got relegated. When we got relegated last time, we lost Ward-Prowse, we lost Teller, we lost Lavia, we lost Livramento, we lost Salisu, like loads of guys left. And quite honestly, a lot of this team, I don't want them to stay. Main ones there though, like Ramsdale, Dibbling, and Fernandes, I would love them to stay. But if we can get big money for them and use that money to build a competent championship team, then I'm fine with that. It's just about trying to come back quickly, but also come back ready as well, because I think we weren't good enough this season, and that was as a result of we only scraped it the season before. We won the championship playoff, but we didn't finish third. I think we finished fourth in the end, and our defensive record was pretty poor. So it's not like we were like one of the best teams in the championship. Like Leeds and Leicester were way clear. Not Leeds or Leicester.
You were the Sunderland.
Ipswich and Leicester were way clear. Leeds probably should have been going up as the third best team, but the playoffs are the playoffs.
Yeah, the playoffs are the playoffs. So we're at the end. I'm gonna ask y'all both a question before we go to the fantasy league. What do you guys think individually is the biggest season arc of this Premier League season in English football?
Well, definitely the way Liverpool dominated after Klopp left, and
you only can pick one. You can't.
Yeah, that's it. That he topped Klopp and built something special at Liverpool.
And what's yours, Lee?
Tottenham finishing with less than 40 points.
and winning Europa League. Thank you.
We're talking just Premier League. We're focusing on the
you guys got a point a game. Is it?
They got 38 points in the middle of the season. Come on, man. You're not that much better. You're not that much better. You're not that much better.
In all seriousness, I would agree with Martin though. Liverpool, changing manager and storming the league as probably
they actually won the league in more dominant fashion than they ever did under Klopp.
Yeah,
they completely dominated throughout the whole season.
Mine is Man City falling off and letting Liverpool and Arsenal, but they fell off. There was a part of the game where you could confidently not count on them winning. Like first they built up this disbelief in them that was never existed. Like you're like, yeah, they're gonna win this game, and they lose it, and you're like, they're gonna win this game, and then
quietly,
they lost
the last 3 months of the season they were pretty good.
Not completely, because they lost last weekend to Crystal Palace. You can't really, not being able to count on a Pep team is huge, and they won nothing. Nothing. So that's the biggest thing to me. Like, I mean, also United falling off. If you guys want to pick another one, United falling off like that, and Eric Ten Hag getting out, and then the new guy they hired didn't turn it around. But that's huge. There's a lot of things happen this season that I don't know, man. It's a crazy season.
Oh, it's not been boring. We know that much.
Yeah,
it's not been uneventful.
The way Chelsea started the season with all those buys, everybody's like, are these people crazy? And the chaos, and then they end up fourth. But yeah, crazy ass season. What's that fantasy league do? How much did you whoop Martin's ass by?
Not much. A good finish.
25 points in total between us. I finished 14th. Martin finished 16th. So we had a good battle all the way down to the final day of the season. We both put Arsenal players as our captains because we were that confident that Southampton were going to lose. but both of them got benched. I went Saka, Martin went Trossard. Both of them got put on the bench.
But I got 1 assist out of him though.
You did get 1 assist out of him, but I still got more points than you this game week. So
yeah.
Because it was a 22-point league going into this, and I extended it because I had other players who stepped up. Like I had Jared Bowen because I knew that West Ham were leaning on him. So Bowen got me a nice set of points with an assist and a goal. Gvardiol got me a clean sheet. Edison got me a clean sheet. Huijsen came off the bench for Bournemouth and got an assist as a centre back, which is crazy. Salah, we both had Salah, so he got the same points. I gambled. I put Evan Nilsson in. I thought he was going to do something, but he missed a couple of chances for them. But yeah, looking at Martin's team, like Martin had Mbeumo, who delivered. Obviously, Trossard came off the bench with that assist. Kirkes clean sheet. Kepa clean sheet. So yeah, he finished strong. There's some movement at the top of the table though, which is surprising. So Ahmad Zekri won. He'd been number 1 for ages. So Ahmad Zekri.
He's the Man City of the league. He's the old school Man City of the league.
Crazy consistent. So yeah, he finished strong as well because he had Salah, Bowen, Kirkes in there, Gvardiol as well. So
he's no Liverpool. He didn't ease up after he won.
But then Joseph Duda overtook Brian Avina, but he finished 1 point ahead of him in second.
Shit.
So congrats, Joey. You made number 2. And he had Captain Salah, he had Mbeumo in there, he had Kirkes in there as well. So yeah, he finished strong and beat Brian Avina by 1 point. Because Brian did the same as me. He gambled and put Saka captain. So he didn't get any points there. But do you know why Brian might be upset?
Why?
He had Rodgers for Villa, who only scored 1 point.
Oh, and he got that goal, and it got taken
if that
away.
Goal had counted. So Brian Avina, you might want to sue the Premier League as well as Aston Villa, because you got robbed of second place.
And the way our Champions League spot works, this is an old school Champions League where only the 2 top teams go through. So you just got screwed out of the Fantasy League Champions League for next season.
So yeah, one point down, unlucky Brian, but you still came third, which is pretty good. With a pretty
good
solid,
work, Duda.
Yeah. And Jose Stable came 4th, and Eduardo Tamayo came 5th. I won't go any further than the top 5. We'll give those guys their props.
Congrats, guys. Good work. Good work on beating Matt Martin's ass.
And you know, if we're doing the pod next season in a different form, or if not, if you keep an eye on my socials, I'll set up a fantasy league next year regardless. So,
yeah.
So make sure you follow me on Instagram, Lee Hudson Comedy, because I'll throw details up on there next season either way, and we'll have another league.
The irony is I might have time to play that one. That's the irony. Yeah, man. So everybody, any last words, Martin, for this one? We got one more. We got to win a Champions League for sure.
Well, I'm cautiously optimistic. I think, you know, we got the monkey of our back. You know, we got the trophy, and now, you know, it's a completely different ballgame. You know, sometimes all you need to is get over the hump. We got over the hump, man. We got over the hump. I will never. It's funny. It's ironic that, you know, I did this podcast for 11 years, and the moment that Tottenham wins the trophy, we end the podcast.
Yeah, so we can't make Spurs jokes anymore. So, I mean, we can. I will, but
pretty much Tottenham shut down the podcast. You know, which is I guess
we can't have
supposed to be. Yeah,
we can't have a win in Tottenham. Even though you gave us both, you won a trophy and had your worst season probably in Premier League history as far as what games lost. So we could still, even when Tottenham win, you could still clown them.
Yeah, sure.
Lee, got anything? Or I guess you did say, hey, listen, everybody, thank you for listening all this time. We love you. We appreciate you listening, watching. Still like and subscribe. Who knows? We'll figure out something for next year. We'll see what's up. And then tune back in for Champions League final, which is next week, Saturday.
Yeah, 31st of May. And we'll know the Conference League winner by then as well. So
Oh yeah.
We'll try and get Neil's reaction to the third-rate trophy.
Hilarious. All right, thank you guys. We love y'all and ladies and whoever won. Let me full screen this.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking about, and you know, it could serve us on a social